Okay, so we've looked at scanning to find instances, managing the configuration, managing SSL certs, managing configurations, and then managing configurations across multiple devices using instance groups. The other piece of really useful tool that Instance Manager gives you is obviously some stats and visibility metrics and reporting. So let's take a look at what we can see. I'm going to pick this instance because I know that I've generated some traffic to it. And I'm going to look at the metrics summary to start with. And here we go. We can see that my CPU highlights from the last minute. My CPU is down. My memory use is a bit down. My disk use is up. My current requests are up a little bit. Active connections. I can see this kind of fairly useful over the last minute, but I can take the last, let's take the last 3 hours, probably quite good. You can see that we've had some traffic coming to the device. Nothing particularly exciting going on, but we can see we have traffic here, and I can get more into this when I go to metrics. And again, I'm just going to use the last 3 hours. I think makes a lot of sense. So I can see the system information, CPU, load average, memory, network traffic, network drops. Fortunately, there haven't been any. Disk I/O, disk latency, all the CPU stuff that's there. It's just platform stuff. But I can then get into things like if I'm using NGINX Plus, I get a lot more information about the status, configuration generations, number of connections, requests, current connections. I can see SSL handshakes. Obviously, I've been doing some SSL to it when we were doing the testing earlier. So you notice when we go to upstream that there's no data here, despite the fact we have some upstreams configured. To actually get data into here, you need to add a zone command to the upstream block. So let's just quickly go and do that now, and then we'll get to see some traffic in a minute. So I was on 185 is the one I've been looking at. So let's just edit the config. Up here in the, I'm just going to add a zone here. Zone backend, 64K. That's just the amount of memory to assign it, which is fine for this thing. Let's publish this. Publish this. Where we go? There we go. That instance has been conveniently published. I'm going to go and generate some more traffic, and then we'll see if that makes a difference to being able to see the stats for a particular backend. Okay, so I've generated some traffic. We've made the update. Let's take a look at see if we go and look at the metrics, and we look at our HTTP upstreams, and let's pick a more useful time. I'd say the last 15 minutes or so. There we go. Okay, so now we can see the network traffic, about the number of bytes, the number of requests, response status, the upstream connections, response times. I haven't got a health monitor, and the status. So that's a really sort of useful set of information about the upstreams from this particular instance. I can generate the same thing for particular HTTP servers. If I need to break down by the different server types, I can put those in zones so I can see those individually as well. And you can see it's a really powerful set of statistics to see how your application and your application delivery infrastructure is behaving. So far we've been using Instance Manager GUI and then the CLI on the various instances for making configuration changes. There is also a full API into NGINX Instance Manager. So let me just show you how to find the details on that. If you go to docs, you'll see that the API is very, very well documented. You can actually pull down the API spec into the API testing tool of your choice to build your own API calls. I'll just let's do a little experiment. I have Postman running with this API spec downloaded to it, amongst others. So let's see if we can run some simple commands. Okay, so let's list all the NGINX instances. There we go. There's the instances all listed out here. So we'll make that a little bit larger. Here, here as much. We can see this. And it looks like we can list the instance groups as well. Let's do that. There we go. We can list our demo instance group. You can see that. And also we can create instance groups. So let's create an instance group here. Actually, let's imaginatively named my instance group. So let's send this. There we go, and that will be created now. So if I go back to here and to instance groups, refresh, I've created my instance group there. So the API can be really powerful if you need to make configuration changes, make things happen, run scans, get the information from the device. It's a really powerful tool for you using automation.